Hello, I'm Adrian Clarke and welcome to the breakdown. Today we're going to be analysing Arsenal's 1-0 win at Everton. A good result in my book, but there's been a lot of negativity around the performance, in particular from Arsenal fans. So we're going to talk about that. We'll go through some of the key tactical takeaways as well, of course, and we'll get to some player and manager ratings towards the end of the show. So make sure you stick around for that. But yeah, I'm going to start with a moan about the moans because I don't really get it. I've got to be honest, Arsenal, this is a difficult fixture always for Arsenal. Since the last time we went to Everton and won by more than a goal, that was 5-2 back in 2017. Since then, Arsenal have beaten Everton once, drawn twice and lost 4 times. All of those at Goodison Park, of course. This game, the first at Hill Dickinson Stadium. So this, first and foremost, this is a good result. They're in the top half of the table. Yes, they've got players missing, but it's a good result. I think it was really important after some loose matches where Arsenal have conceded goals, particularly late on, where we've left that door open. It's really important to have a shutout victory, a clean sheet win, where really we gave Everton nothing, and that's exactly what happened. And then at the other end of the pitch, I'm hearing a lot of moans and groans about slow football, about laborious to watch, how uninspired it was, how deep everybody was. Well, if you watch the game back, you'll see an awful lot of free-flowing football. Okay, not all the time, of course not. At times, it was a little bit dull. We only had 2 shots on target in the game. But we did hit the post twice. We did have one cleared off the line by a defender. And we ripped them apart at times with some really free-flowing football. Lovely pass and move stuff. Almost scored one of the team goals of the season as well, which I think would have put a very different narrative around the game had Leandro Trossard scored from that particular effort instead of hitting the post. So look, loads for me to be pleased about. I've got to be honest. Let's start with the positives and just remind ourselves of some of the good stuff that we did in this game. This move here started with David Raya. He throws it into Declan Rice, goes wide to Trossard, and Trossard then goes infield to Calafiori. It's really neat and tidy football. Then you can see here, Calafiori drills a beautiful pass across the pitch to Bukayo Saka. He runs with it. Odegaard makes a terrific run on the inside, busts the gut to get there, and he chops it back for Martin Zubimendi to strike his shot against the post. That, for me, was terrific football. It starts with the keeper, and we weave our way up the pitch, pass and move, always finding the spare man. It was top-class play. And, okay, we didn't score from it, but it's the sort of thing that surely I think Arsenal fans want to watch. Let's look at that sort of potential team goal of the season candidate as well. This one is a 14-pass move that starts with David Raya, and we knock it around at the back a bit. I think Zubimendi goes to Saliba, who then picks out Odegaard on the right-hand side. And we'll pick up the move there. And it's beautiful. There's just the interplay into Saka, the movement there. He touches it off to Timber, who makes a great supporting run. It comes back to Odegaard, and we're away. We've broken the lines. But those 3 players combined absolutely beautifully. 1- and 2-touch stuff. And then we look to find the overload on the other side of the pitch, which is always important. That's the aim of football. It's a game of mathematics, really. Where can we find the spare player? And, of course, we've gone bang, 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 bang on the right. We've come across the pitch, and then we pick it up again here. Odegaard to Rice. Rice drives so that he commits James Tarkowski. So he has to come and attack the ball. At the right time, he plays a perfectly weighted pass to Trossard that's begging to be hit first time. And he does so. And look, any kind of curl on the ball from Trossard and it finds the back of the net. So, yeah, for me, they're just 2 examples. We'll go through 1 or 2 more a little bit later on. But yeah, we score 1 or both of those goals. Everyone's saying this Arsenal team are unreal. So that's how fine the margins can be sometimes. In terms of pluses and negatives, I think we worked really well down the right-hand side, not so well down the left, I thought. Calafiori looked after the ball well at times, and he relieved pressure with some really calm play. Trossard did the same at times, made some good decisions, but neither man found penetration down that side. And we're going to have a look at that now on this map here, this chalkboard, which identifies crosses from open play and chances created. And as you'll see down the left-hand side, very little really. Got that one pass from Trossard into the box. The other one's from Saka, who'd gone wandering and cut the ball back on that side. So very little down the left. But look at the right, how cluttered that is. You've got the Odegaard cut back there. You've got Saka. You've got Timber getting there on numerous occasions. Odegaard as well joining in. So for me, that side of the pitch functioned really, really well on the day. And why don't we take one or two opportunities to remind ourselves of some of the good stuff, really? So this one was a wonderful move. Saka drives in field as he loves to do. And as we pick it up here, he slides in Timber, who's made a brilliant overlap. And he's made that overlap because I think he's up against Grealish. And we all know that Grealish is a good player on the ball, a very good player. But does he want to track back? And I think the answer in this game was no, not really. So Mykolenko is in trouble. Saka slips him in. And then, as we freeze it here, on the moment where he cuts the ball back to Saka, you'll see there is an option there to fizz it across to Victor Gyokeres. We've criticised Victor Gyokeres for being 2-3 yards behind play at times of late in these situations. But there he is. He's there for a tap in, 6 yards out. He could play the pass, but he doesn't. I actually think it's probably the right decision to just chop it back there because they might have got a foot on that to block the cross. They can't block the cutback. He's in acres of space, Saka. Really and truly, I think he should probably score. He doesn't. It's a terrific piece of defending from James Tarkowski. So, look, again, nice, free-flowing football. Lots down the right-hand side. If you remember in the first half, Saka inside, slips Timber down the line. His cross is deflected. Gyokeres almost wins a pen. Shouldn't really go down there, I don't think, but he does. And we score from the corner. So again, those two players making a real difference down that part of the pitch. I think their chemistry is getting better and better all the time. So there are various reasons, I think, to feel good about the performance, rather than think that was all a little bit stressful. And I get it, because Arsenal have had trauma in recent games. The Villa late goal, Sunderland late goal, Wolves late goal. Yes, we bounced back, but I understand the nerves of having that 1-goal lead. But 1-goal leads aren't that unusual. And in this game, and I'm going to show you this now, Arsenal gave Everton pretty much nothing. There was a couple of long throws that did cause us problems. And I think that Saliba and Hincapié could have dealt better with those long throws. So that's something to work on moving forwards. But in general play, we completely snuffed them out. Everton had 0.2 expected goals. That's their lowest home or away this season by quite a way. They had 5 shots, their second lowest figure of the campaign so far, and they just had the single effort on target. And when you look at that effort on target, by the way, it's a hopeful ball in the box. It's a collision in the air. It comes off Charlie Alcaraz's head and loops in gently, very gently, into the arms of David Raya. So it really didn't. They really didn't trouble us at all. And I'm going to show you here a chalkboard that I think, highlights that. So here we go. These are Everton's successful passes. Successful passes, successful crosses. We're taking away the corners. This is it. I mean, that box is empty, right? You've got 2 passes in there. They both actually sort of cross it. I think one was a header, helped back into the box. The other one was a cross for that loopy header on target. That is it. We kept Everton at arm's length completely. Yeah, okay, Tierno Barry and Beto up front, they were muscular and they caused 1 or 2 edgy-ish moments, and we did get a little bit lucky maybe with the penalty appeal that Everton had. But that aside, really, it was hit and hope stuff from Everton. They didn't open us up at all. And this is a tough game away from home in the Premier League against the side in the top half. So I don't think Arsenal supporters should be beating the team up too much about that particular performance. That's just me. We're all entitled to our opinion, of course. I just think some of the criticism was actually a little bit unjust in this particular fixture. Right, let's have a look at some things that I wasn't quite sure about. And I think this might have caused some of the frustration. We did rotate that midfield unit quite a lot, and we saw some players taking up some really unusual positions. Let's pick one up here. And this here, you'll see Odegaard and Rice are kind of playing left back and left side centre back there, and you've got Calafiori in an advanced position. You've got Zubimendi very high as well. this is positional rotation. This is dragging blue shirts around to give them something different to think about. That's all it is. And sometimes we want to draw teams onto us to then go and play through them. And look, I don't want to see Rice there. I don't want to see Odegaard that deep. Of course I don't. But sometimes during the course of matches, you have to take up different positions, and that's what we do, particularly when Odegaard has the ball. If Odegaard drops in, then Zubi will go higher or Rice will go higher, so it doesn't have to be Odegaard all of the time. So and he, I noticed, has copped quite a lot of flack, actually, Martin Odegaard. And I do think that was unfair in this particular match. Let's have a look at his pass chalkboard, for example. So here we go. This is Odegaard's pass map. We're kicking right to left. Yeah, he's got the ball deep between the centre halves quite a lot. But he's also touched the ball inside the final third an awful lot as well, particularly down that right-hand side where we caused massive problems for the Toffees. Some numbers from Martin Odegaard's game as well. He made the most passes inside the final third. I think there were 24 of them. Rice was second on 19. So, people are saying I don't like him that deep. And I think we all prefer him a bit higher up. But let's not focus on that. Let's have a look at the actual data. And the data tells us that Odegaard made more successful passes in the final third than any other Arsenal player in the game. He also created 4 chances, which is more than any other Arsenal player. Now, where I will criticise him is for shots. Now, when Eza plays there, you're almost guaranteed 3 or 4 shots a game. Odegaard didn't have a shot in this game. So absolutely, we're looking for him to add that a little bit more. And I think he's trying to. I think this season he's certainly made more attempts on goal than he has in previous times. So hopefully he'll get back to that sort of, was it the 23-24 season where he scored loads of goals. Let's have another look at different freeze frame here. And this is a setup that I would prefer to see a little bit less of, I have to be honest. Here it is now. And you'll see there, Calafiori is very, very central. He's high. You've got Timber really, really high as well on the right-hand side. So Timber's practically right wing. Calafiori's at number 10. Odegaard's high here. Rice a little bit deeper. But then you've got Saka playing central midfield. It's not ideal to have those players deeper with your fullbacks higher. But what you'll also see is Mikalenko, the left-back, has come all the way in to sort of think, right, what am I going to do with Saka? And then he's turning around because he's thinking, well, I can't leave my post. So by mixing up with the positions, by rotating in the way that we do, it drags blue shirts into different places that they don't want to go. And that, hopefully, if we move the ball well enough, will open up space for other people. So as much as it looks weird and you really don't want your fullbacks both up so high when you've got really creative players deeper, on occasion it's kind of, you have to do it just to create that confusion for Everton and to make it to make them have decisions, to make decisions under pressure. If we all stuck to our positions the whole game, I think it'd be very easy for Everton to defend us. Right, I want to talk about Declan Rice. He was absolutely colossal again in this game. Brilliant performance from him. He was everywhere, wasn't he? Some of the numbers were crazy good. He won possession for the team 10 times. That was the most of any Arsenal player. His dual success, 7 out of 9, was 77.7%, the best of any Arsenal player. He won 3 out of 3 aerial duels. No one else had a 100% record in the air. He made 3 interceptions, which was the most, and he made 97 passes as well, which again is the most of any Arsenal player. So he was absolutely dominant in the game. Here we can have a look at his pass map. Very deep at times, often coming back, between those centre-backs to prompt play. It was very much a 2 with Rice and Zubimendi in this game. But you'll also see he still gets forward. He still drove us forward. He carried the ball beautifully. He made good decisions on the ball. And he made some passes into the box as well, didn't he? And then if we want to flip it around and talk about his defensive work, well, here you've got 2 more sides to him. What's interesting, I think, when you look at this chalkboard here, is the lack of sort of defensive contributions in midfield. There's none, really. He's either clearing the ball inside his own box, which he did very, very well on the day, or he's coming across to help Calafiori and Trossard, which he did absolutely superbly with a number of ball recoveries, a number of interceptions, some tackles thrown in there as well. So Rice was a really, really prominent figure. Let's talk now about the goal, the winning goal. Um, First up, let's talk about how the penalty was awarded, because there's a little point of interest here that I think you'd like to see. It comes from the corner, so here we'll freeze it as the corner is mid-flight. You see there, Calafiori, he's unmarked. No one's gone man to man on him. It's mainly zonal. And as the one I want to highlight here is Hincapié, because he makes a run from that back post to block Jake O'Brien. Now, Jake O'Brien is the guy that handballs this. So he's made a beeline for him. And he's basically made that run to stand in front of him so that Jake O'Brien can't come out and head the ball away in front of Ricardo Calafiori. This is all deliberate. This is all planned. They want Calafiori to be the one that heads this. What happens is Jake O'Brien wrestles his way past Hincapié at the last second. He panics a little bit, and then this happens, where he puts both hands into the air, and it's the clearest handball you'll ever wish to see. Here, I've got this particular view because look at the referee's view. I mean, you are not going to get a better view than that. You can see it in the red arrow there. You could just focus in. I know things happen quickly, but that really is a decision that shouldn't be heading to VAR. So, we got the penalty. And what I loved about this was the trust. The trust that Saka and Odegaard had in Victor Gyokeres. We talked a little bit about in the past about do the players trust Gyokeres to give him the ball and to make things happen. Well, they trusted him here. It's a big penalty. We're not 3 up. It's not a sympathy pen. This is a big moment. But they're like, no, you've scored, what was it? I think 17 in a row. I think he scored now in the league for Sporting and now Arsenal. So they just believed in him, and I think it was a good psychological moment for him to be given the responsibility, and then for Gyokeres himself to tuck the ball away so emphatically. So yeah, really proud actually of the way Saka and Odegaard made that decision. It was good for Gyokeres, and it was also good for the team. As for Victor, I think he was sharper in this game. I think you could see he had a full week's training. Couple of incidents I want to highlight here. This one first, Saliba comes forward. I mean, you'll also note that Saka and Odegaard are mega deep behind the ball. Timber's very high again. So you could look at that and say, well, why is Saliba ahead of Odegaard and Saka? But look, let's park that for now and look at the run. He makes a brilliant run across the defender. It's a quick run. His touch isn't bad. It's just brilliant defending, really, to deny him. As he gets the shot away, it comes off the defender. He's unfortunate. I think, look, overall, you do want a little bit more involvement from Victor Gyokeres. He had 18 touches, which is not very many. He only made 5 passes. Again, you want more than that. But he offered a threat. He had a flick header wide. He scored the goal. He had that chance that we've just seen. And there was another run as well, which I want to highlight. And this is what I think we really want to see a lot more of from Victor Gyokeres. And I want to see the team use him in this way. It comes down the left. Calafiori gives it to Trossard. And there's a gorgeous outside of the foot pass. But what I like from Victor there is he comes short, he drags the defender in, and then spins him like every good centre forward should do. And he makes a terrific run down the side. And he's away down the left. And then as we pick it up a little bit further down, you've got a 2v1 on the far post with Saka and Odegaard there around Mykolenko. And in an ideal world, you'd expect Victor Gyokeres to sort of chop the ball back and maybe pick out one of those. But Tarkowski there, I've highlighted, he plays it brilliantly. He stays between the ball and those two players quite magnificently. He doesn't dive in. He makes sure there's no route. And in the end, he tries to go through the gap and it doesn't quite happen for him. But overall, I felt that it was a good day for Victor Gyokeres and for Arsenal. Look, it's a big 3 points for the Gunners, which of course took us top at Christmas, which means nothing, but it's where you want to be. You want to be ahead of the rest, and that's where we are at the moment. Right, let's round things up with some play-out ratings, shall we? First up, David Raya, 7. His distribution, well, he didn't have a save to make, but his distribution was brilliant. I thought he was really calm. Obviously, at times, I get nervous. I'm on the commentary. I'm trying to stay calm, but I get a little bit twitchy when he's drawing people to him. But his decision-making with the passes was superb, and he pinged a few beauties out to the wings. He's very, very good on the ball, David Raya. And he also came out and made some really nice claims, didn't he? Some catches in the air. So, yeah, he just looks the real deal to me, David Raya. Definitely one of the world's best. And I can't believe he's not Spain number 1. It's mad. During Timber, I'm going to give him a 7. He could have been an 8 because I thought some of his play was great. But the final ball did let him down on occasion. He gets into that right by the byline. Can he pick someone out? And he kind of didn't. So I'm going to mark him down to a 7, even though I think a lot of his performance was worthy of more. I think Saliba's a 7. I think he did really well on Tierno Barry. There's a couple of moments where he was embarrassingly too strong for him, and he looked absolute class. But towards the end, Beto caused him 1 or 2 problems, and he did get lucky. With that sort of, where he's tried to clear the ball and he hits the foot of the player. It could have been given. It might have been let go. 50-50 call. It goes for us, and they haven't always gone for us, have they? So maybe we'll count our blessings there. Hincapié, I'm going to go for an 8. Thought it was pretty flawless, really. He made 10 clearances. He was always the guy that was there to head it away. Terrific from him. Calafiori, 7. Some really good stuff, but he did give the ball away a few times. But overall, I think that Calafiori was strong. I'm going to go 7 for Zubamendi. Forget the odd loose pass. There was 1 or 2 loose ones that went straight out of play. But in general, I think Zubamendi kept the ball ticking along really nicely. He knitted things together. He did complete 73 of 79 passes. So he didn't have a bad game at all. Declan Rice, I've talked about him already. 9. Main man for me. He was absolutely everywhere, with and without the ball. Very talismanic. Very much drove the team on. Terrific from him. Got to be really player of the season candidate, hasn't he? Odegaard, I'm going to give a 7 to. Again, he was everywhere. He was deep. He was forward. Made some good runs. He created chances. But we do want more shots from him. Trossard, I'm going to go 6. I thought he was a bit quieter than you'd want him to be. He did miss that big chance, of course, which wasn't too difficult, I don't think. And as I highlighted earlier, not that much penetration happened down the left-hand side. So, yeah, some nice link play. But nothing special from Trossard here. Saka, 8. I thought he was unplayable at times. Second only to Declan Rice. Should have scored, I think, from that cutback from Timber. But in general, he absolutely tormented his mark. I thought he looked really, really strong. And Gyokeres, a 7. He should have done better with that penalty shout. Should have just bundled it in. But he got the pen. Showed good courage to do that. And as I said earlier, he looked nice and sharp with his movement. So, yeah, a good performance from him. Subs, I think Gabriel Jesus comes on, keeps the ball. 11 out of 11 passes for him. Thought he looked really good. He got involved more than Gyokeres. So he held onto the ball when we needed him to. As we looked to close the game out, he did a terrific job for the team. I think Marino and Martinelli, not a lot of time to make an impact, but I give those 2 6s. Not a lot to discuss. As for Mikel, I think 7. Picked a good team. Gave Everton absolutely nothing. Made sure that we were solid and very, very, very controlled in the game. Maybe too controlled for some, but we did get the clean sheet win. I think that was what his aim was all along. It was what the team needed as well. I get the frustration at some of the football. You sometimes want us to move it forward quicker, but we are wearing teams out with good football, and we did. As I outlined at the top of the show, we led them a merry dance at times. So yeah, I think the manager had a decent game. And look, but for better finishing, and that's not on Mikel Arteta, but for better finishing, but for a bit more luck, we win this 3-0, and everyone says, "Whoa, that is an accomplished performance from the title favourites. They look the real deal." So let's not be too negative. Let's try and keep that glass half full, shall we? As we head into the Christmas period, got Palace, of course, on the 23rd, and then Brighton on the 27th. I'm not sure about my schedule. I'll try to fit in breakdowns around those games. No promises, but I'll do my best. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. The figures are going up and up all the time. And thanks for the likes as well. And please do leave me a comment. If you've got any observations, anything you want to ask me, just chuck it in the comments below, and I'll look to try and get back to you whenever I can. So until next time, it's bye from me.